All right, welcome into another episode of the Lowdown Sports Show. This show is brought to you by the Basketball Podcast Network, presented by DraftKings. I'm your host, Drew,
And I'm BJ.
and we are here to get you the lowdown on all things basketball. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, for our 24th edition of the Lowdown in Season 3. As always, got plenty of basketball to talk. BJ's best, what's on Drew's mind, a little bit of sprinkle from DraftKings, talk about some Fanatics, some T Public, some merch, and
Ooh,
and all that jazz.
and all that jazz.
Yes, indeed, but plenty to talk about. NBA All-Star Weekend going down this weekend, big time in the NBA. BJ gets to take a break from the bashings of NBA fantasy for a bit.
I
And
mean,
so do
it's
I.
been
Frankly,
yeah,
it's been
it's
a tough
been
season.
not a great season,
It's
unfortunately.
just
There's a
injury
reason why they are continuously just dumpster fire.
man. And we of course dip back into some WNBA free agency because some stuff happened right after we recorded this and put it out. So
Wow,
we
no
gotta talk about
way.
those things because they're pretty important. Because it was pretty shocking when some of that went down, and we got some context on that today, full context from one of the general managers. One of my buddies asked him a question, and he
Mhm.
gave full transparency. So we're gonna get into that, uh, all of that here today. BJ, whenever you're ready, anyway, we'll do that.
Well, I am ready, Drew. Let's get at it.
Yes, indeed. Let's do that. All right, BJ. 2023 NBA All Star Weekend. Here we are once again for our third edition of the Lowdown NBA All Stars.
Wow, that's hard to believe.
Yeah, right. And here I am in my Mavericks gear, and BJ, we're taking two players to the All Star game,
We sure are,
but
Drew.
only one of them was he gained his All Star selection with us, and that was Luca.
Yeah.
Kyrie got his elsewhere and just brought it over to us. But nonetheless, the first time the Mavs have seen two players representing at the All Star game since
2010.
2009, 2010. Yes, with
Hmm.
Jason Kidd, our coach, and Dirk.
Hard to
And
believe.
and even harder to believe, BJ, these two guys we're sending, they're both starters. They're both
Wow.
starters. And Kidd was not a starter that year.
No. Neither was Dirk, which is hard to believe.
And neither was Dirk that year. So when was the last time, BJ, if ever, the Dallas Mavericks sent two Mavericks as all-star starters? Well, you can think of a chance here in 2006, 2007, the last time before that Dirk had an all-star with him, and that was guess who? Josh Howard.
Josh Howard.
But I
Wow.
do not believe that he was a starter. I do not believe that he was
Ah,
a starter.
I don't think he was, Drew. I really don't remember the last time if we've ever had two Dallas Mavericks that have both been starters during All Star Weekend. My
Because that was his lone All Star appearance, and I doubt he was a starter and just wasn't an All Star again. You had to have
yeah,
just squeaked in.
when Nash and Dirk both made it in '02, they were both reserves. I do remember
Hmm.
that. I mean, when you're
Okay,
talking
so
about
2002, 2003 is the Mavericks' only chance, I believe, to have that, unless Aguirre and Donaldson were starters back then. But I
Nash and
don't
Dirk
know.
were also All Star reserves in 2003.
Both
So
reserves, so it has not been seen.
yeah, I don't think this is something we've ever seen before, Drew.
And the only way it can be seen, BJ, is if we re-sign Kyrie Irving in the offseason.
Yeah, and he makes another All Star run again.
Yeah, he would. He would, if as long as he is healthy and everything is going swimmingly, then we could have two All-Star starters.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness! But it has never happened in Mavericks history, and it's only very technically happening
it's a
now.
technicality that we'll take nonetheless.
We'll take it. I don't know if they're gonna put it on Basketball Reference and make it count officially. Probably not.
It'll
And
count for
question,
Kyrie, but it won't count for the Mavericks. I don't think.
yeah, and good thing it's not in an East-West thing out there, and they're doing the draft. Or like, how would it work
Yeah.
out for Kyrie? He was declared an All-Star in the East, and then moved to the West. That would have been a pickle back then. That'd been a pickle.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we saw it in the NHL. There was
To shoot back.
a player that was traded just before the NHL All Star game. Ended up suiting for the division for his old team. So Kyrie would have been suited up as an Eastern Conference All Star.
Ugh,
Yeah,
gross work. But luckily,
as a
he gets to
Brooklyn
get
net.
drafted, and it's a live draft this year. Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I liked the TV stuff. It was funny the way they did that with Harden last year, the late pick, and not trying to put him on KD's team and all that. But yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. We got some substitutions in this All Star game. BJ, no Steph Curry due to
Hmm.
injury, no Zion Williamson due to injury, and he had a recent setback, so don't know what his timetable is like. No Pascal, or sorry, Siakam is an injury replacement player for, I believe, what it is. The Anthony Edwards as well, and who's Fox coming in for? Because I said two names. Oh, Kevin Durant,
Yeah,
not playing due to injury. So
yeah.
Fox, Anthony Edwards, and Pascal Siakam are the All Star replacements.
Some good names there, Drew. I mean, you're talking about there's always feels like there's going to be a snub. I think we made it right with some of the injury replacements, especially De'Aaron Fox, and the year that Sacramento's having, especially as we talked about, has been in large part because of De'Aaron Fox, and so him being named as an injury replacement, it will be an All Star game appearance for him, and rightfully so.
So the captains are LeBron and Giannis, right?
Yes.
the
Yeah.
guys taking the draft. Okay. So BJ, instead of drafting ourselves this year, I thought it better to try and pick your brain to see if you can pick the captain's brains.
Okay.
And by that I mean I'm going to go through the All-Stars and you tell me if you think this captain will pick this player.
Okay.
Okay? Giannis Antetokounmpo. And we'll see how many you get right.
Okay.
Do you think Giannis will draft Luka Doncic?
No, I don't think so. I think LeBron will draft Luca. I think LeBron
Okay.
has been pretty consistent in wanting to get Luca on his team in the past couple years. I think that'll continue this year.
Do you think LeBron James will draft Damian Lillard?
You know that I mean, obviously it can go either way, but I think he's going to go to Team Giannis,
Oh,
and
okay.
I'm not saying that to be a contrarian. I promise.
Okay. Which captain do you think drafts DeMontis Sabonis?
That feels like a Giannis pick to me.
Mm, okay. Okay. Speaking of Giannis picks, do you believe that Giannis would draft his teammate, Drew Holiday?
I think so. I absolutely think so.
You don't think LeBron would snatch that just in case?
No, I feel like LeBron is gonna try to assemble as much of the big name stars as he can, and I think that not to be critical of Drew Holiday, I think that Giannis is going to try to build and craft more of a like playing as a team dynamic, and so I think Giannis will end up taking his teammate because he's played ball with him in the past.
Will both Dallas Mavericks players end up on the same team?
So basically, do I think that LeBron is going to draft Kyrie? Is what
Basically.
you're asking.
potentially.
I don't know if he does, Drew. I think that there's
Bad blood.
I don't think there's any bad blood, but I mean we saw how LeBron and Kyrie played together in the past. They didn't mesh as well as they you would have hoped they wanted to. And I don't know if LeBron is ready even for a one night off kind of deal All Star game appearance to have Kyrie as a teammate. I don't know. I think there's a possibility, but I think it would have to be Giannis drafting Luca and Kyrie. I'm not sure that I think that they'll be end up being teammates in the All Star game either.
Who do you think will be the number one pick in the draft?
Man, there's so many talented players. It's tough, but I think Drew,
Mm.
and this may be maybe a little bit of a bold take here.
Oh, bold takes. Let's hear them.
I think Jason Tatum is the first player off the board.
Whoa! All right, that's a little
That's a
crazy.
little spicy, a little spicy.
That's a little something.
But
A little
you look at
something.
what Jason Tatum's been able to
Who's
do this year.
drafting him? LeBron? LeBron's got the first pick, yeah? He had the most
I was gonna
votes?
say I was gonna say I didn't remember how they did it, but it wouldn't surprise me. I think LeBron will play. I think LeBron will pick Jason Tatum. Yeah, if it's LeBron that gets the first pick, then I'm more leaning towards Luca.
Yeah, I was just, I guess, assuming because I think he had the most votes overall. So I
I
would
don't.
assume the player with the most votes would get number one pick.
Yeah, and we
But
won't know until Sunday night.
right.
I don't think that they have announced who gets like first selection. Maybe they're trying to figure out whether it's like a coin flip that before the draft starts or what the case may be. But the thing about it is do they already have like different like colored jerseys or I mean you got to know kind of who the teams are going to be because like what happens if you draft a player that's wearing a white jersey, everybody else is wearing like purple because they're in Salt Lake. So I don't know. I'm really hard pressed to believe that it's going to be something that hasn't been determined already beforehand.
Who will be the last pick in the draft?
The last pick in the draft. This used to be called the Mister Irrelevant pick until Brock Purdy came along and changed that. No, and in all seriousness, who is going to be picked last?
What you got?
Drew, I'm gonna go with Tyrese Halliburton.
Oh, last.
I think he's a good player, but I don't know if he's gonna be picked up near the top. And I'm not trying to be mean or anything like that, but it's kind of there's gonna be like two guys left, and Halliburton will be the one that's not selected with the next last pick. I don't know.
Okay, two
This is
more
just a
questions.
crapshoot.
Two more questions, BJ, for the All Star part anyway.
Okay,
One question.
one
Will
question.
anybody get posterized in the All Star game? If so, who is more likely to deliver said poster?
Now, I don't think anybody's going to get posterized, Drew.
Mm,
I think you'll see some good dunks, but I mean, there's not going to be pressing enough defense that somebody's going to get near close enough to anybody that would be going up for a posterizing kind of dunk. I think you're just going to see a dunk with nobody around them kind of deal in the paint.
I would wager John Morant try that because he just does it all the time. Maybe like I don't know if him and Embiid are on opposite teams. Embiid, I don't know, one to block a highlight block. I don't
Might
know.
be able to.
I
MB
just feel
might be
like
able
John
to.
Morant's gonna want to launch it back and try and dunk on
Whoever
somebody.
is the tallest player on the opposing team, that's
Yeah, it's just in his blood to do it.
you know,
And
I
lastly, BJ,
mhm.
who will be the All Star Game MVP?
Oh man, I don't remember who we said last year, Drew, but Steph Curry went off and had an All-Star game record for three-pointers made. I don't think we're ever going to see, another player come close to doing that. Who is going to be voted the All-Star game MVP? I'm going to say, Drew, I think Joel Embiid will be voted.
Oh,
I
wow.
think Joel
Okay.
Embiid will be the All-Star Game
Okay.
MVP.
Okay.
And I'm going a little bit out there tonight,
All
so
right.
we'll see.
Hey, hey, I
It's
like it.
like I
Be
said, it's
adventurous.
a total crapshoot. We have no way of knowing what's going to happen.
I couldn't even tell you who we picked last year, but I don't think either of us picked Steph Curry. And
I
for
don't
him to
think
do
so.
that, it was just like, what was going
No,
on?
no, I don't think we did pick. I don't think we did pick Steph Curry last year.
And if I had to pick someone to be the All Star Game MVP, I'm going to go with Kyrie.
I like it.
Kyrie Irving.
I like it, Drew. Good picks. Good picks.
It's only been the Kobe Bryant award for like, what, 2 years
I think
maybe?
this will be the I think this will be
This would
the
be like the
second.
third or
Either
second
the
or third.
second or the third, yeah.
So I feel like that's something Kyrie would like to have on
When
his
when did the,
shelf.
when did they change it so that the fourth quarter it was first to 24? Because I think that was the first year that it was the Kobe
Oh,
Bryant All Star Game MVP award.
I don't know.
I think that was 2021.
Because 2020 was bubble.
Yeah, I don't
So,
know. No, they had the All Star Game before the,
oh, well,
but they
okay.
hadn't. That was right after
I don't,
the plane or the helicopter crash. So I don't think they had changed it at that
yeah,
point.
so, and maybe they didn't make it that fast. So maybe last year was the first year.
Yeah, I
So
can't remember either way.
that's something that Kyrie, I presume, would want to get
I
now.
could absolutely see that, Drew. What's going to be interesting
What's that?
is going to be that AT&T Slam Dunk competition on
Is it
Saturday
going to be
night.
interesting, BJ?
I don't know. I've got some highlights here of some of the competitors.
Well,
I think
let's
we've seen some crazy dunks from them. We
let's see what
might.
these guys. Let's see what they got then. See
Okay.
what these dunkers got.
Excellent driver and finisher.
I'm really excited for this matchup with Sabonis and Alfie.
KJ, stuffed it. Just stuffed it on Sabonis.
So that was Kenyon Green. Next up,
With the ball, turns it over. Here's Rose, alley-oop to Sims. Oh, beautiful fast break on a perfect feed.
Okay.
Jericho Sims.
After offense. Up ahead for McClung, and Mac McClung will throw it down on the reverse dunk to end the season.
Mac McClung.
Okay.
Over the top. Primo on the run out. And Trey.
Did you see me? I guess so.
Mama, I caught a body.
Woo.
And that was Trey Murphy. And that's my pick, Drew, to win it this
Trey
year.
Murphy.
Trey Murphy. Yeah. I couldn't get a clip. There's a clip of him. He did like he was alone on a fast break and he did a sweet two-handed windmill flush. I wanted that clip to play, but I could not find a good clip that we could use here for the show tonight. But yeah, I'm going to go with Trey Murphy. I think he is one of, if not the best dunkers in the sport right now. I think he's going to prove it on Saturday night.
Okay. I'll give an underrated selection
Okay.
to Matt McClung.
I like
Matt
it.
McClung.
I think it's gonna be either McClung or Murphy in my book.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't know a whole lot about these guys in general. I knew McClung,
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen that video before of him dunking. That's the one I've seen. But who knows, man? The dunk contest is kind of unpredictable with like not as many of the stars we know because like we don't pay attention to these guys near as much. So, like, who is Kenyon Martin Jr.? Well, we recognize his name, and then
Mm-hmm.
you say Trey Murphy. Anybody who just hears Trey Murphy is not gonna
Yeah.
know who that fella is.
Yeah.
No offense to those guys, but dunk
Yeah.
contest is just not star studded like it used
I
to be.
was gonna
No
say
Zach
it's not
LaVines.
not as like it used to be, but
But
yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
go with Mac to get the dub there.
I like it. I like Trey. You like Mac. We got like somebody different. There are 5 judges, Drew, this year. Jamal
I
Crawford.
was just about to ask you about this, BJ.
Yeah, Jamal Crawford, 3-time NBA Sixth Man of the Year. Lisa Leslie, the 8-time WNBA All-Star. Karl Malone, obviously represent for Salt Lake, 14-time NBA All-Star. Harold Miner, 2-time slam dunk champion, somebody that should know, and also somebody else that should know what it takes to win a slam dunk championship, Dominique Wilkins, 9-time NBA All-Star, I should say, and 2-time slam dunk champion.
Karl Malone also representing the pedophiles.
Whoa. Come on now. Wait.
This is why I was going to Karl Malone. He's been under backlash about getting to be an all-star game judge because of his history.
Yeah.
But
Well, I
he's
mean,
there.
there's
We'll
some
see some very creative tweets about him during the all-star game or during the dunk contest. I'm sure once he pops up on the screen, there'll be great content on NBA.
I was gonna say that the thing about it is with it being in Salt Lake and as kind of recognizing the 30th anniversary of the All-Star game, who are you going to have if not Karl Malone? John Stockton, he's got his own
Either one.
worries and warts.
You don't want him either. He's just
I was about
bad,
to say,
but in a different way.
There's reasons that you can find for limiting almost anybody to not being there to a certain extent.
Who could you bring? One-time All-Star Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, bring back Gordon Hayward.
And Utah. Who were the stars that were? It could have even
Mike Conley, even though he's not.
It was Memphis.
Well, I know, but he's been there for a few years now.
I don't count that.
I know.
One-time All-Star in Utah.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
That's probably about it. But
Yeah,
either way, you lose in that situation. Just makes it better.
I was just saying, we'll survive. We'll make it through, and we'll have a different location for next year's All-Star game.
But more interesting, BJ, the 3-point contest. We got some shooters out here.
Shooters, yeah.
There's been one replacement for Anthony Simons, I believe.
Yeah, Anthony Simons.
Yeah. Who was the replacement?
It is Julius Randle of the New York Knicks.
I saw that today, and I was just like, oh, my God.
He's going to join the other 7 members of the competition that include Tyrese Halliburton, previously mentioned from the Pacers, Tyler Herro, who has been close. I don't quite remember if he's won it in the past, Drew, but he's been close.
He won't win this one either.
Buddy Hield from the Pacers as well as in it. He's a good 3-point threat. Kevin Huerter from the Sacramento Kings. Dame time. Damian Lillard is in it with, of course, his when you're talking about one of the best just deep threats there is, you've got 2 buzzer-beating deep 3-pointers from Damian Lillard in the playoffs. I mean, that's remarkable.
To send teams home at that.
Mm-hmm. Jason Tatum of the Celtics is also in it, and the hometown favorite for Salt Lake City representing the Utah Jazz, Lauri Markkanen.
Who is your pick to win this, BJ?
I mean, it's tough to go against Dame. I'm not picking against Damian Lillard in this competition, but if I had to, Drew.
Oh, perfect.
If I had to, because my pick is Lillard, but if I had to, I think I'd go with Tatum. I think Tatum is primed to win it.
I like that. That's an interesting selection. I'm right along there with you. Damian Lillard is my first thought as like the guy who should win it, probably would win it, especially if it's his day. Then he's going to take it.
Yeah.
But if I had a dark horse in this race, BJ, I'm going to go with Mr. Red Velvet, Kevin Huerter. From the Sacramento Kings.
Like the beacon when hardware. Kevin Huerter potentially wins the NBA 3-point shootout.
Bring home the only hardware Sacramento will see this season.
Stop! We were so nice to them before the season started. They're going to hate us now.
I said their guy is going to win the 3-point contest. They should be happy.
They want more than that, Drew. They want to avenge the 0-2 loss to the Lakers.
They're going to get more than that. They're going to make it to the playoffs. I don't know about avenging anything, but they're going to get there. If they have to face the Lakers, I feel bad for them.
I don't think they're going to have to face the Lakers.
I just feel like the curse would just be, Well, the West is so close, BJ. You never know.
And that's true. That's true. I think they've gotten a little bit of separation. And Drew, honestly, I mean, I know it sounds bad, and this is still a long ways off. But do I trust the Lakers not at full strength in the play-in tournament? I really don't know. If they win both games, they would need to get a spot. Anyway, that's still a long ways off, Drew. And of course, what else do we have going on this All-Star weekend? Isn't there a Kia Skills Challenge, Drew, that we've got to break down?
Yeah, there's a skills challenge, BJ, and the Antetokounmpos
Are
are
back.
back.
Yeah.
They did not win the year
No, they did
before?
not. I think last year
Correct.
was Team Cavs that won
Yeah.
it.
Yes, that is correct. And the interesting thing about the Antetokounmpo family is the complicated names to start. Giannis, Thanasis, and then they just kind of gave up. Alex. You know?
Yeah.
Just
They-
nice, good, lengthy names. Giannis, Thanasis, Alex.
Alex. Well, I mean, you
Wah,
can
wah,
you can
wah.
you can have a traditional Greek name and still shorten it. Like Alexander would be my guess is Alexander Antetokounmpo, and then he just shortened it to Alex.
I bet it's just Alex.
You think it's just Alex? Could be. But you know what is not Alex?
What?
The hometown team that's going to be competing this year. Last year it was the Team Cavs. This year, with it being in Salt Lake, it's Team Jazz. Jordan Clarkson, Walker Kessler, and Colin Sexton. Didn't Colin Sexton just play in this last year with Team Cavs?
He did. He just likes being at All-Star
he-
weekend.
he's gonna be the hometown team wherever the All-Star game goes from now on.
Not a bad idea.
That's not a bad
We're looking free agency. Like, okay, where's All-Star weekend at this year? Oh, it's in Orlando. Well,
1-year
Sexton
deal
is
with the
about to be a
Magic.
Magic player here pronto.
Well, speaking of the Orlando Magic, Drew, they
I
are
wish-
represented on the final team in this Kia
Good
Skills
segue,
Challenge.
Good segue.
The team rookies, Paolo Banchero of the Magic, Jaden Ivey of the Pistons, and Jabari Smith Jr. representing the Houston Rockets. Drew, you went with Antetokounmpo last year. I went with Team Cavs. Who are you going with this year?
I'm gonna go with the Rooks this year.
Dang it, you took
went
my
the
pick,
Rooks.
man.
Sorry,
You took
had
my
to-
pick. I wanted to
thought
take
about-
team rookies this year.
I thought about doubling down on the Antetokounmpo, but I just don't have faith that they're gonna get it done. Not in the other two. Not in the other two. I got Giannis, like he's gonna do fine, but the other two I'm shaky about. I'm shaky. And I was gonna say about Walker Kessler earlier, BJ. That's who I wanted the Mavericks to draft this last
Yeah.
year. Remember that?
I do remember that.
And he's had a good season.
He's had a great season, yeah.
8-8 average right now. He's doing
Yeah.
so good. He would be good. What do we need right now, BJ? Interior defense,
Yeah.
and that's what he's providing.
That is what he has provided. He's done a great job, Drew. I'm right there with you. I think it would have been a great pick for the Mavericks, but yeah, I'm also taking the team Rooks. I think that I think this is the best chance. I think last year's rookies were really good and probably could have won. But wasn't it? It was Evan Mobley that hit the half court shot last year, wasn't it? That like out of all the guys that you would have thought for Team Cavs to get it done the quickest, it was Mobley.
And if you want to, BJ, Rising Stars rosters here. Got 4 teams: Team Gasol, Team Noah, Team Williams, and Team Terry.
Mm-hmm.
Team Terry is all G League.
Okay.
You taking Team G League or Team Williams, Team Noah, Team Gasol?
Well, you want me to break down the rosters real quick, or do you want?
Yeah,
me to,
you can.
Okay. So, Team Gasol is Paolo Banchero, Benedict Mathurin, Jaden Ivey, Scotty Barnes, Jose Alvarado, Keegan Murray, Andrew Nimhard. For Team Williams, you've got Franz Wagner, you've got Jalen Green, actually was replaced by Ayo Dosunmu. You got Alperen Sengun of the Rockets, Trey Murphy III, previously mentioned in the dunk contest with the Pelicans, AJ Griffin of the Hawks. You've got Bones Highland, who is representing the Nuggets, even though he was traded to the Clippers. Walker Kessler again, Drew, and of course, as mentioned, Dosunmu replacing Jalen Green. Team Noah has Evan Mobley from it last year, Josh Giddey of the Thunder, Jalen Williams, also of the Thunder, Jeremy Socon, Quentin Grimes, Jabari Smith Jr., Jalen Duran, who is not playing and is going to be replaced by Terry Eason, And of course, you said Team Terry has the G Leaguers: C.D. Sissoko, Scoot Henderson, Mojave King, Kenneth Lofton Jr., Mac McClung, Leonard Miller, and Scottie Pippen Jr. So who am I going with?
Mm-hmm.
I like Team Gasol, Drew. I really think they've got the best assembled talent this year, and I'm hard pressed to. I'm not really going to be surprised, but I think Team Gasol is the best out of these 4 rosters. So I'm going to go with Team Powell.
I'm going to go with the sleeper squad, Team Williams.
Okay.
I like their center duo down here, Kessler and Sengun.
Mm-hmm.
You got the explosive Trey Murphy, Jalen Green, who can get you a bucket, Bones, Franz Wagner. They might be able to get it done.
Well, Green's not going to play, Drew.
Yeah, you
replaced
said
by
Green's
Desunmu. Mm-hmm.
the son. Oh yeah, well, Ao will be fine.
Ao.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
You can still get a lot of points from Franz. He's a budding young star, but I think it might be the centers that lead that team, to be honest. But
It's very possible.
the sleeper
Drew.
squad.
Okay, I like it. We'll see that tomorrow night. That's Friday night on TNT as part of NBA All-Star 2023. That's the second event.
Gosh darn it!
What's up?
I almost skipped over this, BJ. You might have been leading into it. The celebrity game.
I was leading into the celebrity game because that's the second event. It is following after the Ruffles All-Star Celebrity Game on Friday night. And so it's going to feature actors, comedians, Grammy Award-winning musicians, athletes, more. So here we've got the teams. If you're ready for this.
Let's do it.
We've got Team Ryan, which is led by the Utah Jazz governor, I should say, Ryan Smith, and honorary captain. Kane Brown, 5-time American Music Award winner. Rapper and recording artist Corday, Diamond DeShields of the WNBA All-Star team with the Phoenix. Calvin Johnson, Megatron, former NFL player. Marcus Mayone, TV host. The Miz from the WWE ranks. Former MLB All-Star Albert Pujols is on this team. Everett Osborne, the actor, is on this team, as is Ozuna, Guillermo Rodriguez from ABC's Jimmy Kimmel Live, and Cinqua Walls, an actor. Guillermo's going to be on this team, huh?
Good old
and then the other team, which is Team Dwayne, led by, of course, NBA champion, Utah Jazz minority owner and honorary captain Dwayne Wade. His roster has Nicky Jam, who's a Latin global music icon and actor. Simu Liu, actor, been in a lot of things recently, Drew, including the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think he was Shang-Chi, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Content creator from YouTube, Jesser. You've got Hassan Minhaj, the comedian. NFL player DK Metcalf. You've got Janelle Monáe, actress, singer, songwriter. Arike from your Dallas Wings, the WNBA All-Star. 21 Savage, the rapper and recording artist. You've got the actor and NBA brand ambassador for India, Ranveer Singh. Francis Tiafoe, tennis player, and of course, the Peloton coach and Puma athlete, Alex Toussaint. Some pretty talented names here, Drew. Now, how much does that talent come out on the court? I don't know. That's a good question.
It's gonna be interesting to watch, BJ. I feel like I want to go with Team Ryan to win it because I feel like the Miz can play basketball, and I don't know if D Wade's team has enough firepower. Yeah, he's got Arike to match Diamond, and he's got DK to match Calvin Johnson, but 21 Savage, I don't know if he's that great of a hooper, but I feel like I've seen the Miz in a celebrity game before or something. I don't know why I feel like this guy can play basketball, but Albert Pujols is too old. Guillermo is just going to be there to make us all laugh. I don't know a lot of Arike's team besides DK Metcalf in 21.
I think you're sleeping on Team Dwayne, Drew. I think
Arike's going to have a bajillion points, but DK Metcalf's going to have a bajillion too, I guess.
It's obvious you don't watch Jesser. Jesser is.
I do not.
He's probably talented enough if he didn't have to worry about the conditioning, he could probably be a G League player. I think he'll be
Oh, okay.
able to get some good points. I think DK
Oh well, I'm gonna
Metcalf's
go
speed.
with D Wade's team
You're
then.
gonna go with Team Dwayne?
If he's that good to be almost a G League, I don't know anything about Jesser, so
Okay.
I was just going.
I think it's again it's really just going to be just kind of a complete shot in the dark as to who wins this game. I was going to go with Team Dwayne since you were going with Team Ryan, but I don't really
gonna have
think
like 40, so
it's going to be interesting.
yeah.
It will be fun to watch, Drew. So that is everything going on this weekend at the NBA All-Star festivities in Salt Lake.
And now, finally, it's time for BJ's best.
Well, thank you, Drew. I just wanted to kind of bring this up. You know, the big game was Sunday night, Drew, and we might revisit this here in a moment. But, you know, one of the best things I saw is kind of the NFL Twitter becoming NBA Twitter. And I don't have any supporting, you know, evidence or anything like that, like screenshots or anything. But did you see all this kerfuffle that went down earlier this week?
It depends on what you're referring to specifically.
So on Tuesday, at Valentine's Day, Super Bowl champion winning wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster tweeted out
his
a Valentine's Day card. Yes, and it was an image of a Valentine's card like a child would make for, you know, one of his friends or one of her friends or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And on it has a picture of James Bradbury. And if you didn't watch the Super Bowl on Sunday night, it came down to at the end, Juju Smith-Schuster was trying to run a route. He got held by James Bradbury. Refs throw the flag. Chiefs get a first down. They're able to go down and milk the clock almost all the way down before kicking the game-winning field goal and winning the Super Bowl. So with that being the context, Drew, the Valentine's Day card said, "I'll always hold you," or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I'll always be there to hold you.
Yeah, something like that. And so Juju tweeted that out when saying Happy Valentine's Day. And boy, did that stir the flames, because then A.J. Brown got into it. You saw Tyreek Hill getting involved. Patrick Mahomes was at Disneyland. Even he had to tweet about it or something like that. And so this is the first time, Drew, that we saw NFL Twitter kind of verge on what we've had in NBA Twitter for a long time now. This was probably the craziest day for NFL Twitter in quite a long time. Because you know, Juju Smith-Schuster is supposed to be enjoying, you know, us being a Super Bowl champion, getting ready for the parade that was going to be held on Wednesday, and he tweets out a meme for Valentine's Day and trying to poke the bear and stir the flames a little bit, because that holding call, which I mean we can talk about later on, has been widely debated by a lot of football fans. So he just kind of, I don't know, should have read the room maybe. I thought it was funny. I really did think it was funny.
I thought it was funny too, but I mean, if you're AJ Brown, you're definitely gonna respond like that though, because I mean, you're mad you lost. You know you're a better receiver than Juju, and I mean, if that doesn't go down, I mean, do they win it? Are they able to finish that off like that the way they did? Does he even catch the pass?
He would not have caught the ball, Drew.
Probably
I will say
not.
that.
Yeah,
but Kansas City would have still likely kicked the field goal. What everybody's most upset about is they thought that Jalen Hurts and the Eagles should have had one more chance and see if Kansas City's defense could have gotten a stop.
Well, BJ, by God, if you put any of those fans, if you put anybody in the position of Kansas City, what in the heck are you gonna feel bad for that moment happening? Or are you gonna be like, yeah, we're about to win a Super Bowl. We don't even care. We don't care if that ruined the Super Bowl for you. We gave you all these minutes of good Super Bowl until the end. We milked it down for a minute and a half, 2 minutes, so we could win our championship. So what?
You know
James
what?
Bradbury
You know what? You know what might ruin the Super Bowl more for Eagles fans than that call?
Rihanna being pregnant and all the men being sad because it's not their baby.
No, that's not what I was going to say. That might be a reason, a very valid one. But what I was going to say, Drew, is when your defense, that very same defense, gives up 2 wide open touchdowns in back-to-back drives a couple minutes apart, and you go from being up 6 to down 8. You didn't get a stop at all on the Kansas City defense in any second half drive. You gave up 24 points compared to scoring just 11. You had a 10-point halftime lead, end up losing by 3. I mean, if you get one more stop, if you can, be able to hold your coverage, then it doesn't matter what happens there. It doesn't matter whether the flag is thrown or not, because you could not stop Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense when it mattered most. And that's what I think they should be more upset about.
What down was that on that?
That was a third down. So it was like a 3rd and 9 or a 3rd and 11 or something like that. It was, and the pass was heading towards the end zone. It overshot Juju, and the flag came in.
And the more frustrating thing for those fans is if that isn't called, Juju doesn't catch that, it's 4th down. Yes, they get the field goal still, but Eagles get a chance to score again.
And that's what a lot of people are upset
the biggest
about.
Thing.
They wanted the chance to see whether Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia offense could have gone down and gotten either a field goal to tie it and send it into overtime.
Kansas City don't want to see that.
No, Kansas City sure doesn't. But I think, Drew, I think the biggest thing with that is that, and I don't know why this is the case, it seems like there are just people that want to hate on Patrick Mahomes. Maybe it's just because he's already getting comparisons to Tom Brady, and everybody loved to hate on Tom Brady. Patrick Mahomes is a young player. He's won 2 Super Bowls. You don't have to follow his brother on TikTok and watch his annoying TikToks. You don't have to pay attention to anything his wife does. You can admire what he's able to do on the field and respect how good of a player he is without, being a whiny little crybaby about a call that was the right call in my book.
And people are just greedy. They wanted the perfect Super Bowl. Whether it be Jalen getting all the way down there and triumphantly running into the end zone and winning it that way, or the Chiefs getting a stunning stop at the end to cap it off. They want something like that. They want their cake, and they want to eat it at the end too.
Absolutely. And I still think I get
it though.
I get it too. But life's not a Hollywood movie, Drew.
Yeah. And I understand
games don't play out that way.
And I understand the number of people that are like, you don't make that call in that moment. You get those things, you hear that all the time, but like,
you don't make that call
penalty,
in that moment, but
you make the call.
Exactly.
Like, if it's a penalty, you make the call. Like,
it doesn't matter when or where the play
you're
is.
on the team of the player that made that mistake, and you're frustrated that they made this mistake in that moment. That's their fault.
Yeah.
Or you're the beneficiary of a crucial penalty that you needed to secure your victory, because without that, victory is not guaranteed for the Chiefs. With it, it is guaranteed because they dictate the time and everything there at the end.
And credit to James Bradbury for acknowledging, it was a hold. They were letting us play, earlier in the game.
Yeah, they played the whole game. They let them play all game.
Yeah.
And then people were talking about that as it went on. And that's why people were more frustrated that call was made at the end. But everyone saw it, though. Like, you see it with your own eyes. I get it if it's something super controversial. They're in the booth for a while. It's up in the air with everyone. But everyone saw the grab. Like, that's a definite hold. We all know it's a hold. As much as you hate it right there, as a fan in that moment, you want the perfect game. It's a hold. He messed up. Chiefs 1st down. They dictate the game. They're going to win it how they want to. And it's ugly. It's slow. It's ticking it down to the final minute, kicking it in and getting what you came there for. But if I'm them, I'm being just as selfish. I wouldn't care if I had 2 minutes to milk it down, and I could milk it down for 2 minutes somehow. I would do it.
Just think about how selfless Jerick McKinnon was. He had an opportunity to walk in and have the game-winning Super Bowl touchdown potentially, slid down at the 1 so that they could guarantee that the Eagles would not have any timeouts and they could, drain it down as much as possible and not give the Eagles any time. That's the best thing that you can do in a football sense, strategy-wise. So
he almost forgot too. For the people,
he got down like at the 1.
You could see that he I see the hole, and he hit his little burst, and then he was like, they said don't do that. So he slid down.
Yeah.
And I've seen the appreciation post for him and everything. Like, it's a Super Bowl. It's what people dream of, scoring a touchdown in it, and it was it means the world to slide down and be down at the moment so you can win that championship for your teammates and everything. He forgot for a second. He can't. I would need somebody to ask him. Did you forget that they asked you not to run in the end zone. They said, Jarek, make sure you don't score a touchdown.
And I mean, he's a rookie too, so that's even more like knowing the situation and not scoring because
not Jarek McKinnon. He's not.
Oh, the Pacheco. That's right.
Yeah, Pacheco's the rookie.
That's right.
But yeah, McKinnon. That would have been a huge moment for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm great. I'm glad that he realized it and had just enough room to slide and not get that foot in there because you could see it like in his face that he saw end zone and was like, but like, wait, I don't need to do that.
So
he probably wouldn't be a Kansas City Chief if he had gone in the end zone. You have that moment for the rest of your life, but you lose your job.
I've got 2 final points to make on this. Talking about this, we saw way back in week 2, Drew. Nick Chubb of the Cleveland Browns scored a touchdown, put them up 13 with under 2 minutes to go, and they still lost that game to the New York Jets. So McKinnon going down, we've seen that, a touchdown, not paying off for the team that scores it. And so that's absolutely the right play in that moment to waste as much time as possible because the clock is the enemy of the team that is trailing.
Yeah,
and lastly, to everybody that says that ruined one of the best Super Bowls of all time or whatever, I don't think so. I think it was still one of the best Super Bowls we've seen, even despite that. I think the back and forth nature of it, maybe it's not remembered as fondly as, it's picked off by Malcolm Butler in the end zone when Seattle threw it at the 1 yard line or the last time, no, that was in Arizona. But the time before that in Arizona was when the Giants upset the undefeated Patriots, and both of those games are remembered very fondly. I still think this was up there as one of the best Super Bowl games, probably top 10, top 15.
Since you're talking about that throwback game, specifically that Malcolm Butler one, I hated that. I hated that ending.
That
I
ending,
couldn't stand it. We played it all out to the final second, and I hated it. So
that's the worst way
Super Bowl than that other one.
Yeah, that was the worst way that you could lose a Super Bowl. Not scoring the touchdown and giving the other team enough time to go down and win it themselves.
Imagine having money on the Seahawks that night.
Oh gosh,
like you're about to walk into a bag. You probably went somewhere irrationally, bought something because you knew they were about to walk into the end zone. Yeah. And then you turn around and you're like,
they threw it, and
you check you get ESPN and it's like ding ding ding, Tom Brady has won another what?
You're like,
and then
man,
life's over.
But yeah, I was gonna say you got to worry about those bad beats every now and again. Sometimes you got to make sure that those bets cash out before you go and make that irrational purchase, Drew.
Bad beats are so crucial. I hate having a bad beat, but hopefully you won't have a bad beat, ladies and gentlemen. If you're using DraftKings Sportsbook, which you should, NBA fans like you get to bring the hoops action to the palm of your hand with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. This week, new customers like yourself can bet $5 and win $200 in bonus bets instantly.
That's right, Drew. And, with it being a weekend full of NBA All-Star action, I'm sure you're going to be able to get some good bets at DraftKings. You can get, for a limited time, if you're a new or an existing customer, all of you, everybody, can get a no-sweat same-game parlay every day. You just go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, you opt in, place a same-game parlay on any NBA game. That could include the NBA All-Star game, as far as I know. And if it does not hit, you'll get a bonus bet back. So tonight, the Clippers are favored on the road in Phoenix, and I've got those Clippers winning that game. But Drew, we've got some games next week when the NBA returns from their All-Star break that, we got some pretty good matchups. Next Thursday, the Sixers are hosting the Grizzlies, and John Morant, he might be all right and might be fine in the West, but he's not fine in the East because the Sixers are going to defend their home turf and beat the Grizzlies. And then I like Golden State on the road to take down the Lakers. Those are some of the national
Golden
games.
State on the road
over the Lakers.
Golden State on the road. Not many.
I like Golden State. I know I'm being a little bit ballsy with this pick, Drew, but I think that the Golden State Warriors are going to enjoy the rest that they need. Even though Steph Curry will not be back in the lineup, I think the Warriors are going to go on the road and beat those Lakers next Thursday night we'll revisit this. We'll see. But that is what's looking ahead to all the NBA action. And don't worry if it doesn't hit, because you'll get a bonus bet back with the DraftKings Sportsbook app.
Download the app now and sign up with code TBPN. New customers can bet $5 on the NBA and get $200 in free bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, with code TBPN.
Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. All right, Drew. Well, we wrapped up last week's episode, and we thought that the craziness had come to an end with the WNBA free agency, but we got some more moves, Drew, that went down just after we ended the show last week. And so for those of you that were not able to keep up with it, Drew, just kind of go over what was the big name. Was it Brianna Jones was the big name that was committing and going back to Connecticut? Was that the biggest move that we saw?
Look at BJ trying to skip my segment. What is he doing? Acting like what's on Drew's mind doesn't matter anymore.
That's right. I forgot. It is time for what's on Drew's mind. I'm so sorry. I forgot what the heck we're doing with this show.
I hope you have the right answer to this question I'm about to ask you.
Okay, Drew, what's on your mind?
Do you like Marvel, BJ?
Do I like Marvel? Yes, I like Marvel, Drew.
Do you love Marvel, BJ?
I think so. I mean, I have been, ever since Avengers Endgame, how good that was. There's been some really good movies, and then there were a couple that I didn't really enjoy as much in that span. So, I mean, I still enjoy it, and I mean, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania comes out here this weekend, and
it's
I'm
already
probably. Oh, okay. I guess Thursday night the first showing, but I'm gonna try to see it at some point, Drew.
Ever here in an hour or so, technically it comes out. I think.
I thought it was like 7 o'clock.
I don't know. Maybe it did just come out. Something like that.
Anyway.
But anyway, BZ, I just wanted to check in and make sure you are a Marvel fan. I was gonna ask you previously, but that would have just given away what I was talking about today. So that just didn't make any sense at all. I was coming into it because I just wanted to see how you think this movie is going to go, and there's a lot of hype surrounding it, and I'm just wondering if you think it's going to be a good movie. And it's going to be one of those that you like in Marvel, or it's going to flop.
I think that this is going to be. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Drew, this is the beginning of Phase 5 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They wrapped up Phase 4 with the Black Panther: Wakanda Forever at the end of last year, and so in just a short 2-year span, because of the COVID pushback and everything like that, we've already gone through a whole nother phase. Mm-hmm. And so what we've already seen, Drew, from Phase 4 is that Kang the Conqueror, played by Jonathan Majors, is going to be a bad dude, and the Avengers are going to have a tough time to being able to stop him or defeat him. And I think this is going to be a very good movie. I think that this is going to be, I hope I'm wrong, Drew. I think this might be where we have to say goodbye to Ant-Man.
Ooh.
That's my bold prediction. I hope I'm wrong, but everything that I've seen from the trailers, I just don't know if Ant-Man's going to be able to come out of it alive.
Dang.
I know. I like I said, I hope I'm wrong, but I think this is going to be a fantastic emotional movie. Paul Rudd is his Scott Lang. He's going to be trying to reconnect with his daughter, who grew up in the time that he was stuck in the quantum realm. We found that out back in Avengers Endgame, that he was in there for like 5 minutes, but while he was in there, everybody else aged up 5 years. And so his daughter, who was, a little girl and everything, that still loved her dad, is now a teenager. And so it's going to be interesting, the dynamic with Scott and Cassie, and kind of where they go with that. I expect it to be a very emotional movie.
And I did check ahead, BJ. There's some early reviews and ratings on this movie
Okay.
from critics,
Okay.
and not looking good
Not looking good
so
Okay.
far.
That's
48%.
That is surprising because a lot of I think the first two movies, Drew, got really, really good reviews. So,
Let's see.
is that the Rotten Tomatoes you're looking at?
I'll read a top critic review on here that's closest to the top on here.
Okay.
This is from Kevin Maher. He said it takes an impressive amount of ineptitude to plonk seasoned pros such as Douglas, Pfeiffer, and Murray around a table and produce little more than awkward groans as Murray wheels out his quote wacky Lothario shtick. 1 out of 5 score he gave it.
Wow. But that's all all he gave it, or that's all he talked about, or
Oh no, he's got a full review. I just let's see.
So you said it was in the like 48% on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah.
You know, I look at IMDb because usually you kind of get a better feel for where things are going to be rated because, you know, unfortunately, no fault of Rotten Tomatoes themselves, but they have been bombed, like
both.
review bombed before.
Yeah.
With people that are doing stuff to try to tank a movie down. I wouldn't expect it with this, but everything I've seen so far, IMDb 6.6, which isn't bad. No, I don't think it's over near the first two Ant-Men, but
And VJ, let's run through some of these movies and see how many of them you have seen.
okay.
Where did it? I had them in order. There it is. So I'm gonna go in order of which you should actually watch them.
Okay.
The chronological order, not the year order.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
I didn't hear what the first movie was, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Captain America: The First Avenger.
I have seen it, yes.
Okay. Captain Marvel.
I have seen it, yes.
Iron Man.
Yep.
Iron Man 2.
Yep.
The Incredible Hulk.
I don't remember if I saw that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thor.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it, yeah.
Okay.
But it's been a while.
5 and 6 are in question. Marvel's The Avengers, the original.
I have. That was my favorite until Endgame.
Thor: The Dark World.
No, and I don't want to see that one.
Okay, so you might not have seen any Thors. Who knows?
No, I know I've seen the
the
most
first one?
recent two. I'm
Oh.
pretty sure I've seen the first one and then the third and the fourth, but I did not see Dark World and I don't plan to.
Yeah, I heard it was bad.
That's what I've heard too.
Iron Man 3.
Yes.
Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I have, yes.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Yep.
Avengers: Age of Ultron.
I have.
Look at you go, BJ, rocking. Ant-Man.
Yep.
Captain America: Civil War.
Yep.
Man, he is a fan. Black Widow.
Yep.
Black Panther.
Yep.
Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yep.
Yeah. Doctor Strange.
Yep.
Thor: Ragnarok.
Yes.
Get you. You've seen about 18 or 19 of
I've
these
seen
20 so
seen
far.
a lot of them, yeah.
Ant-Man the Wasp.
Yeah.
Avengers: Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
Avengers: Endgame.
Yep.
Loki.
I have watched Loki, yes.
There's another one. I guess I've missed this in the stream of movies. What If?
I've watched What If. So What If is a kind of a look at like alternate Marvel timelines, like changing like one thing. Like there was one episode where instead of Captain America, the super soldier serum was given to Peggy Carter, and so she became Captain Carter.
Ah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's worth a watch. They're like 30 minutes each, and I think there's like 8 of them. So
okay. WandaVision.
I have seen WandaVision, yes.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I saw that one, yeah.
All right. Spider-Man: Far From Home.
I did see that one.
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Saw that one.
Spider-Man: No Way Home.
I've seen that one.
Eternals.
I saw that one.
Okay. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Yep, saw that one.
Hawkeye.
I saw Hawkeye. Yes,
Moon Knight.
that is one I have not seen,
Ooh.
but
Okay.
I need to. I have just.
Finally stumped him. That's number 34 in the grand list. So you watch it between. So go rewatch Hawkeye, then watch Moon Knight.
I was gonna
Okay,
say
you don't have to
I'll
watch
have to watch Moon Knight. I remember Hawkeye, so
Okay, She-Hulk, Attorney Yellow.
no, not watch that one either.
Okay, that's another one. Ms. Marvel.
I haven't watched that one either. I
Okay,
got a
those you
little
watch
bit.
those in succession. Moon Knight, She-Hulk, and Ms. Marvel is the order.
That's what the plan is at some point. Yes,
There you go. Thor: Love and Thunder. You said you've
I
seen this
did
one.
see that one. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the last one I've seen because I haven't gotten a chance to watch Wakanda Forever yet.
Okay. Werewolf by Night.
I did not see that one either. I didn't know that was actually MCU canon.
Okay, it actually is. It appears, and that one will be after Ms. Marvel, or after Thor: Love and Thunder, but after Ms. Marvel, you get it. You said you haven't seen Wakanda Forever.
I have not.
Okay, and we're down to the nitty gritty last couple. Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special
Oh, I guess I didn't realize that had come out yet. I need to watch that one.
and Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantum Mania.
Not yet, but I plan to.
Okay, so it's only like a few. You are a
Yeah.
true Marvel fan. You've
I
watched
am.
darn near everything.
I've watched a lot, Drew. Of course, when you say it all like that, it sounds like I had no life. But what we're
It's
also saying,
many years though.
yeah, I was to say until like the past couple of years, these were all spaced out over a span of 15 years.
Yeah,
So
it's like a year a piece. You get these
mhm,
movies. You might get a
yeah,
couple in the same year, but
yeah,
so like we got Iron Man and Incredible Hulk in '08, back to back months, and then
yeah,
then we didn't get anything
2010,
until May 2010. Yeah,
yeah.
so they're pretty spaced out, and we still have
Oh, there's
we
still
still
quite a
have
bit.
9 more to go that
Yeah.
haven't been released.
There's I mean, I know that there's a
Uh,
Captain Marvel sequel coming out. I know
Yeah,
that.
you've got in the order they'll release
Mhm,
after
Ant-Man,
tonight slash
Wasp,
tomorrow.
yeah,
Wasp, Guardians of the Galaxy in May on the
Volume
5th,
3.
Volume
Mhm,
3. The Marvels on July
mhm.
28th. Then you have to wait till next year, May 3rd, Captain America: New World Order. Then July 26th of 24, Thunderbolts.
Mhm.
Then Blade comes out September 6th, 2024.
That's gonna be good because that's Mahershala Ali,
Uh-huh. Deadpool 3 in 2024, November 8th.
and I have seen the first 2 Deadpool movies,
Okay.
which I know is gonna count at some point.
Fantastic Four, February 4th, Valentine's Day 2025.
That's insane that it's that close.
Yeah. Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, May 2nd, 2025. And then last but not least, Avengers: Secret Wars, May 1st, 2026.
It's gonna be. I mean, we're talking. We're 3 years away from some of these movies, Drew, and the hype is only going to build
Oh,
between
it's
now
gonna
and
be
then.
crazy.
Hmm.
It's gonna be crazy. Well,
It's gonna be crazy.
BJ, I believe that is all on Drew's mind. Also want to
Just
mention that The Walking Dead started filming again today with Andrew Lincoln. He's got the old Rick Grimes boots back, and they're back at it getting filmed. And one of those new Walking Dead spinoffs will debut, I believe, in June. So we'll get Walking Dead here in a few months, 3 4
interesting.
months.
And so Rick Grimes is coming back for at least like a
Yes.
cameo.
So him and Michonne have their own spinoff.
Oh, okay.
Daryl has his own spinoff. Negan and Maggie have their own spinoff.
Interesting.
And I think that might be it. There might be one more that I'm missing.
Yeah, there's a
at least 3
lot
spinoffs.
coming out with Walking Dead, just like there's a lot coming out with Marvel,
Yes,
and
indeed.
there's a lot coming out with WNBA free
In the
agency.
WNBA, VJ, there's a few things that happened right after we recorded this past week. Just something quick. We had Tiffany Hayes. I don't know if we mentioned that one. Who's going to be who got traded to the Sun.
Hmm.
Not a huge move, but she gets a new start in Connecticut out there, so that'll be interesting for her. I believe she started her career in Atlanta. It's been there the whole time. And then the big one, a 4-team trade, BJ, that sent Phoenix Mercury guard Diamond DeShields to the Dallas Wings. Sika Cone is going to the Liberty. Liberty's number 20. Oh, hold on. The Wings, let me just do it as this is read here. That'll be a lot easier. Chicago Sky are going to get Marina Mabry from the Wings in a sign and trade and a 2024 second from Phoenix. The Liberty are going to get rights to Leone Fibich from Chicago and a 2024 second round pick from Chicago. And rights swaps to swap 2025 first round picks with Phoenix. Phoenix is going to get Michaela Onyenwere from New York, former Rookie of the Year. A 2024 third round pick from Chicago and a 2025 second round pick from Chicago. Dallas Wings get Diamond DeShields from the Mercury, a 2023 and 2024 first round pick from Chicago, and rights to swap the 2025 first round pick with Chicago. Whoa.
That is a huge move, Drew.
Whoa.
My
Yeah, quite a
goodness.
bit. Quite a bit going on there. But BJ, there's a lot of movement going on. And initially, when I saw this, I thought that was a lot Chicago was giving up to get Marina Mabry in town. And, you know, the type of capital that is, you would think all-star starter or MVP level type player you would move all that for.
Yeah.
I was making jokes that GMs had been watching too many NBA trades go down. They were
Yeah.
shifting around so many picks. All love to James Wade, but it was just interesting when that stuff first happened because that was a lot of picks coming to Dallas for one player. I know multiple teams were involved, but a lot to Dallas and not a lot given away.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of puzzled with the logic behind it and, you know, trying to talk to some people around the league that I knew and engage their thoughts on it. And, you know, Twitter's initial shock on it, of course, everybody, you know, that saw that.
Yeah.
So I had to, you know, just kept trying to think about why, you know, and my question was later answered because a buddy of mine, Mark Schindler, who we have had on this show, and he has his own podcast they've got now. He talked to one of those GMs recently that was involved heavily in this deal. James Wade, he shed some light and transparency on how and why.
Hey, James, good to see you. So kind of going off that as well, you know, I was wondering, like, when you are looking at, you know, evaluating, you know, trades or how you're going to go about doing things, what are those staff's conversations like when you're, because obviously, like you mentioned, like you guys know player personnel extremely well. And that, of course, extends to college, like seeing how the prospect landscape is looking. Like when you're talking about, like, okay, you know, like making this trade and you know, giving up draft capital or however you want to look at it, like what are those conversations like and kind of trying to gauge, you know, where you're at from an evaluation standpoint as a staff?
So the one thing with the market is, I think last year we built a really great team, and I think it kind of surprised people. And I think the reason we were able to build a great team is because of players. And that's what I think people probably don't put in a real perspective is, as you see these super teams starting to get, you know, what you guys proclaim as super teams. I'm just quoting from the Twitter. But what you guys proclaim to be super teams, we saw a mass exodus of great players going to play with players. So draft capital really didn't mean that much. So how you stay flexible is, okay, we traded draft capital to go get players, but those players are the players that the players want to play against. So what that does is that makes you a bigger player when it comes to free agency. And I think that's the thing that, you know, we talk so much about 24 and 25 draft or 23 draft. If I gave you an opportunity, if I told you and I said, hey, look here, I give you, you know, two choices. Today, I will let you, you know, speak with our 23 and 24 draft pick every day if you want. Or you can speak with Marina Mabry. Who would you speak with?
Oh, Marina, for sure.
Why?
Because
she does more for
me. I know what she does, and she brings a lot of good stuff to the table.
All right. Same thing here. All right. I know what she does, and I know what she brings to the table. So that's who we're going to rock with. And I understand that 23 and 24 draft picks could be great players. I'm not fucking planning on losing. So I don't know where they're going to be at. And my thing is, I know what Marina brings, and I know that our players and other great players want to play with her. I don't know how much more they would want to play with draft pick 23 or draft pick 24. So you got to weigh those things. You have to weigh those things. And everything's a risk. I mean, that's the part of the job. It's a risk. And so that's what, that's the risk that we were willing to take to get a great ball handler and someone who we think can complement the way we want to play and the style we want to play. She's tough. She can shoot. She can dribble, pass, and shoot, and she can play two positions, which makes her even more valuable. And, she's at that place where she's 25, 26 years old, where she's just coming into her prime. So we don't have this 2-year buffer that we have to wait on her to know the league. And I think that's a good timing for us, especially with the players that we have, where we have 10 players that are between 25 and 30. And now it's just about gelling that talent together and saying, hey, look, you guys have to sacrifice. We have a culture in place, and you say you want to win. Well, this is how you do it. And we know that they understand the league enough to get it. So, yeah. I hope that answers your question.
No, I really appreciate that. Thanks, James.
Yeah.
Very insightful, Drew. And I think he's got a great point. What could be with this, future pick compared to what is now. It's, I saw a video, Drew, kind of talking about the same thing with the NBA trade deadline. Trading a dollar bill for 4 quarters on paper is the same thing, but when you try to apply that logic to an NBA trade, 4 quarters does not necessarily mean you're getting $1. Like, for instance, when you talked about the Kevin Durant trade last week, Kevin Durant is absolutely the $1 bill. And I don't know if getting 4 quarters is going to even remotely come close to the value of that dollar bill.
And in reality, BJ, the length of WNBA careers these days is kind of shortening. Because at least since I've been in this league, so many top picks are not hardly in this league anymore and are fighting to be in this league. And give you examples like Kalani Brown's just now getting back to signing a training camp contract. Like, she had signed one last year, but like that was a top pick coming off right off a championship. Like, you'd think she'd be locked in as one of the bigs to develop and be one of the best in the league coming out. Same thing for Lauren Cox, and players such of her caliber. Talk about rookies like Crystal Dangerfield, who are now on the Dallas Wings. She was a rookie of the year in her first year, but has been bouncing around Minnesota, Liberty, and getting cut from rosters and, trying to find her way again. She came in undersized, got a rookie of the year, and it's just been problematic since. So it's been a struggle for players to stay in. Megan Gustafson, coming out fresh out of college, one of the better players in college, had a rough shake trying to get through there with the Wings, didn't hardly play. Ended up leaving, then coming back, then went to Washington, had a little bit of fun. I think she's in Phoenix now. So she's ended up found her way back, but she's not like a big part of anybody's offense or anything. So the careers, and there were picks like, I think it was, I want to say Shyla Heal, or a top pick for the Sky recently. I think that was who it was, Shyla Heal. Somebody that a young point guard that didn't last very long and got cut, and she hasn't been back in the league. So the length of WNBA careers for these young players, unless you are a definite star, like this player will translate, and rare players coming at number one, and like Charlie so far, Charlie Collier hasn't translated so well. You're not expecting that out of Leah Boston when you draft her this year. You're not expecting a Charlie Collier situation. You're expecting her to come in and do some Ace Wilson stuff and to be a big-time premier player when she steps in because she's ready for it. Same thing for the year after when Caitlin Clark gets into the draft. She's ready to come in, erupt, and be an all-star probably within 2 or 3 years.
Absolutely.
Because she's ready for it.
Yeah.
But it's not always the case, it seems, with these players, and you don't know it until they get here. And James Wade has figured that out, that he doesn't want to gamble like that. He'd rather, take on players who are, a few years in this league, know this league, he knows can ball, obviously saying that players want to play with. People want to play with somebody like Marina, who is tough. She's a knockdown shooter. she's a good part of your organization. She's nice and friendly. She knows the game. She has a high IQ, and like he said, she can play two positions, one and two. She's played out shooting guard, and she's played a lot of point.
Mhm.
So she's very valuable. So the more he talked about it, the more it's like you really are right about the draft stock. It's really not in this league, not so much. In the NBA, I think the stock is still pretty high because you get a lot of really good players
Yeah.
that are guaranteed locks to be in here, and you find some surprises later, like the Bones Highlands,
Mhm.
the Isaiah Thomases of
Yeah.
the world in previous years that emerged to be all stars and things like that, and play
Yeah.
in playoff games, important roles. But WNBA is not as much of a guarantee. You got to have like a top three player, and that's not even a guarantee these days. And as we see from 2 years ago, unless Charlie Collier just transforms and becomes something different, it's not going to translate for her as a number one pick. And you know, who knows how her career is going to turn out. But I'm not trying to pick on her or anything, but just saying that it's unpredictable of how these players are going to come in and handle this league. Especially now
Absolutely.
that the super team thing is kind of shifting, because now when you come in, you're coming to a lesser team that probably has a whole lot of young players with talent already, like a Dallas Wings or
Mhm.
now an Indiana Fever. I mean, you send one of these young players, that are a higher draft pick to the Indiana Fever. I mean, she's got to beat out players she was playing against in college.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll beat some of those out. Maybe she won't. But it also just depends on like who's playing her position as well. Like let's just say Indiana's up in the draft and they end up drafting a guard. Like, how's that going to work out? You just brought your former All-Star back.
Yeah.
You've got uh Destani or Des.
Destiny. Yeah.
You got Henny out there as your young point guard, and you've got they brought in somebody else as well. I can't think
The
of her name off
from the
the top.
draft last year, right? The
And
Baylor woman, right?
well, I'm not. I was trying to talk about the guards that are stacked
Yeah.
up out there, but still, I mean, it's just hard to find time for those young players depending on where they land at. Sometimes it's more beneficial for those young stars when they come in they would fit better on a team that just was in the playoffs and needed like depth off their bench at the wing, and like that three guard is getting drafted third overall, with
Yeah.
a team where she doesn't fit at. And in this league, you can't really just draft talent and it work out. Greg Bibb has found out the hard way, it seems.
Yeah.
All those draft picks that he's had, is only a couple of, I don't want to say a
And
couple necessarily have panned out. A couple have became all stars, but like so many have been drafted high, kept here, underutilized, and just shipped out, quit the game, or released.
yeah.
That's all that's happened here.
Yeah.
And you just wonder how that's going to shake out in the future. But James Wade made it a little more clear about the capital not as high in stock as it maybe has been in previous years or previous drafts,
Mhm.
or as it is, like we said, in the NBA. So, and I get that, and it's just funny because Bibb holds those draft picks in such high regard. He loves to stockpile them up,
Yeah.
and James Wade was just like, sure, take them, give me Marina, I don't mind.
So
Because
what's
that's a
this?
guarantee, and that's a player that he sees that could probably be a future All-Star, and then the rest of
Absolutely.
those are gambles.
Yeah. So what does this do for Chicago now making this trade? All the talent that they had lost. Does this suddenly make them emerge as another, a, perhaps a playoff sleeper kind of deal to make a run?
I think they could definitely be a playoff sleeper. I mean, like James Wade said, he doesn't bleep and plan on losing. So, and I thought that was amazing when I heard that earlier, because I mean, you lose all the talent that he lost, um,
Yeah.
and you think like rebuilding Chicago for
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
but he's brought in Courtney Williams, he's got Marina Mabry, he's still got
Mhm.
Kalea Copper. He's got some pieces to make some things work, and I mean, if you could put something around it, those stars at the guard can be your nucleus there.
Mhm.
And two of them have been former All Stars, and I'm sure he thinks Marina can be one. So um,
Absolutely.
and with the way the super team thing has shuffled it up, like you've got teams that, Aces and Washington, you've got at the top right now. That's who
Mhm.
you think is going to grab it and bring it home. And then you've got
And
everybody else just
Liberty
kind of
too.
trying to. You've got everybody else in limbo, and the Liberty as well. Yeah, the Liberty. And then everybody else is in limbo. And Dallas just came off a 500 season. They've got a lot of talent and a new coach, but can they put it all together? Like all the shuffling of everything over the years, every year is like, okay, can it now be figured out? Do you have the right pieces now? They could be that fourth best team in the league, but they could also teeter and halfway figure themselves out and halfway not like they always do.
Yeah.
So you don't know where they're going to land. The Minnesota Lynx, after losing Shell Reeve, they got Nafisa Collier back. Ariel Powers, coming back. So who knows how the Lynx will shake up this year? Phoenix Mercury, they got a lot of players coming back, but SDS is going to miss. You'll have Griner, old Tarazi, and those pieces around it. That'll probably be fighting for the 7 or 8 seed or whatever, budding at the end of the playoffs. Sparks look nice and rejuvenated. They might be a fresh playoff team. So it's a lot of uncertainty of how things are going to go. Will the Indiana Fever go ahead and emerge with all their young talent? Who knows? Will
Atlanta take the next step up, maybe?
Yes, and Atlanta Dream, they're looking nice. Add Alicia Gray to the group that they've already got, and Ryan Howard, and that's a team that's going to be fighting for playoffs. And Seattle, are they instantly in rebuilding, or will they surprise randomly and be in the mix at like 9 and 10, and it come down to like the final games of the season, like it did kind of this year with deciding those final spots and seeding and all that. So we don't know until the Dallas Wings started out hot last year, undefeated on the road, one of the best records in the league, and then they finished in the middle of the pack. And didn't get out of the first round. Won a playoff game still and hosted one, so cool and all that. But you never know until you get out there and you see the product and how the pieces are going to fit together. And we still have a draft, so we don't know what all the pieces are going to even be like together. And these players got to make it through training camp. Some players that we saw last year may not be there anymore. How's the rotation going to go? Who's starting? What type of offense are these teams running? So a lot of question marks surrounding it all. But shout out again to James Wade for the clarity on this stuff today, and I'm on his side with it now.
I am too, absolutely.
That there's definitely a lot more stock for sure in the NBA side of drafts and their draft picks as opposed to the WNBA mainly. And I think what's got him set in that for sure is that high draft pick last year at that point guard or at that guard that just didn't pan out, and he ended up cutting after like a month or less.
Yeah, and I mean, how many times does that have to happen before you kind of just say, you know what, let me get a proven commodity, as opposed to trying to, take a gamble and bring someone up myself.
Right. So he learned his lesson immediately, and he's like, you know what, I trust players over picks. Let's go.
Absolutely.
I'm with it, Mr. James Wade. Salute to you.
It's good that you say you're with it there, because you'll be playing some with it or quit it here in a moment.
Hey, yeah.
Other final news, real quick. I didn't know if you had gotten a chance to say anything. Reigning 6th player of the year, Brianna Jones, re-signed with Connecticut on a 1-year deal. That was earlier this week. Obviously Connecticut trading away Jonquel Jones. Does this keep them kind of in that middle of the pack range where they seem to be right now in my book?
Yeah, the Sun, we don't know what they're going to look like. They're probably going to be one of those teams down at the bottom. That's what you got to anticipate.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't able to retain a lot of important things. I mean, Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner are still out there too, so they'll probably be as feisty as they were a couple of years ago when they didn't have when they were kind of a middle of the pack team that somehow made it to like the conference or the semifinals.
Yeah.
But we don't know. Like I said, until these Suns step out on the court and we see them, we're not entirely sure yet. But my guess is they're going to be at the bottom, and they might give teams trouble for the final playoff spots.
Absolutely. Until we see them take the court, which is rapidly approaching, come in May. The draft will be early April, and we'll see the regular season start up in late May, and we'll know the playoff chase by August of this coming season.
And since you brought that up, BJ, I did want to tab back into these other updates. I forgot about them. Got on off a little rant there.
That's okay.
Chicago, James Wade and them re-signed Rebecca Gardner. She was crucial last year and an all defensive player and all rookie team this last year. So she's going to be crucial. They have a really strong core of guards out there. Rebecca Gardner, Marina Mabry, Courtney Williams, Kalea Copper. That's nice. I bet he probably flexes Kalea out to play some 3 this year, and maybe her or Gardner, because that's a lot of guards and they need to shuffle that rotation properly. So he'll probably get it figured out, play a little bit kind of small-ish up top. Rebecca Gardner's kind of tall, so I mean it's really not playing small at all. And Mariah Jefferson has signed with the Mercury.
Yeah.
Former Dallas Wings guard and Lynx guard most recently. Just short of 11 points and 5 assists this last year after leaving Dallas in Minnesota. She'll be a nice little addition out there in Phoenix, especially if she can stay healthy like she did in Minnesota for the better part of the year last year. I've always liked Mariah. It was just always a health concern in Dallas for me. She's a good little player that can help you out. You fit her in the right place, and that's the place. I think if you could find somewhere else, that would have been that's a good spot. So I think we're pretty caught up on everything in terms of free agency. So we can now slide into that good old with it or quit it beach.
Until we get inevitably off the air and more happens, and we'll be back to go over anything that transpires in next week's episode. Absolutely. We'll be keeping our eye on any more developments with the free agency moves around the WNBA. But now, as Drew mentioned, it's time for him to step into the winner's circle, let's hope, and get to play a little gamey game of some with it or quit it. Now,
yeah,
Drew, back in BJ's best, we were talking about the Super Bowl. And so, question number 1, this Super Bowl that we just saw play out is a top 5 Super Bowl all time, despite the controversial, in air quotes, ending. With it or quit it?
I don't know. I'm just gonna say quit it, just because it's a lot of Super Bowls, and I'd have to think back for a second, because I remember watching some that I know I really liked, and I don't know where it would rank. I like a 28-3 comeback. Honestly, that was sickening to watch him do it, but it was phenomenal to, actually watch happen. Crazy enough.
We had some pretty decent ones the past couple of years.
Yeah, and one of those Super Bowls I won some nice money on.
That always helps, right?
Oh yeah. No, I'll go quit it. I'll just go quit it. Just go with the field and say that there's a good chance that there's 5 Super Bowls that are better.
Sounds like a plan. All right. Number 2.
Okay.
So, Drew, you are a fast walker that gets irritated if someone is walking slowly in front of you. Are you with it? Or are you going to quit it?
With it.
100%.
With it. I'm with it in the car, too. I hate it. It drives me nuts.
Especially if you're trying to get somewhere and they're driving the speed limit, or they're driving slower than the speed limit.
Man.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, and especially like if I'm just walking a normal pace and somebody's walking just incredibly slow for no reason, or they're just super old and I can't get around them. Oh my God. I can't stand it, dude. It gets so frustrating because I'm just like, are you going to get out of everyone's way, literally?
We'll be that age one day, Drew. That's why I don't, try to let it get to me that much, is that
I'm going to remember how mad I was at old people when I'm old. I'm like, you know what? I probably shouldn't be driving. Maybe my grandson should be taking me to Dollar General right now. Or Dollar General 3.0 by the time we're old.
Yeah, Dollar General Plus or whatever they call it in the future.
$1.50 General.
$1.50. Oh, man. All right. So Drew's with it, and he has quit the first one. So we've got an even split through 2. Now, question number 3.
Okay.
With all the parity we've seen in men's college basketball, this streak will continue of no repeat champions. We will not see a repeat champion through the rest of the decade. Are you with it, or are you going to quit it?
Through the rest of the decade?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Do you happen to know the last time we saw a repeat champion in college basketball?
UNLV?
No, it's been more recent than UNLV. Good guess, though.
Duke? Wait, did Duke go back to back?
No. In the 90s, yes, but there's been a team more recent than Duke.
This is hard. Nova didn't go back to back. They were like
Nova did not.
2 and 3 years.
Yeah.
No, I give up. I don't know.
It was Billy Donovan's Florida squads in the late aughts, 06, 07, 07, 08.
Al Horford.
Yeah.
His game. Yeah.
And Joakim Noah, I'm pretty sure too, was on that team.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So they're the last team to win back-to-back titles. So basically the question is, does Kansas win it this year, or are they, if they don't win it, do we see a team emerge in the next, 6 years or so through the rest of the decade that
I'll
goes
say
back
quit
to
it.
back? You're gonna say
I'll
quit it?
say-
You think they'll be back to back?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm with it that there won't be.
Okay.
Sorry.
So you're gonna say that we're going to see no repeat champion the rest of the
Correct.
decade. Okay. Number 4, another philosophical point for you, Drew.
Okay.
You, Mr. Drew Ivory, you would rather be the richest man in the world as opposed to the smartest man in the world. With
Ooh.
it or quit it?
I feel like if I was the smartest man, I could become the richest man.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's the case.
I think I want to be the smartest man. I'm not gonna lie to you, because if I'm that smart, I could find a way to make money. I don't have to be
Absolutely.
the richest. I could still be rich.
But you don't have to
I
be
want to
the
be the
richest.
smartest man for sure. Because
So quit it.
oh man, oh yeah.
Awesome.
I feel like me being too smart would be such a problem. That's why I keep myself at bay a lot. Whack my head on this wall. Be like, be a little dumb. So I can be a little dumb tomorrow.
Well, if you got brilliant insight, that's always appreciated in my book. So I think I'm right there with you.
I would just use some powers for evil. Is the thing. I'd be like, I'm too smart to not take advantage of this opportunity. Yeah.
I'm too smart not to place these wagers strategically. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, Drew. Last but not least, you ready for number 5?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, and to finish that, quote, knowledge is power. So
knowledge is power.
not money,
Indeed.
though, but you can make money.
Number 5. Outside of the NBA All-Star Weekend, Drew, the sporting event that you are most excited for this weekend is the return of the XFL. Are you with it, or are you going to quit it?
Wasn't even thinking about it. I do know that I did see not too long ago that it was coming back, and like it was recent. Like I saw the week away thing like last week, but it wasn't even registering for this weekend like at all. I'm not even thinking about it. Like
so that's
honestly
sounds like a quit it.
Honestly though, yeah, quit it. And there's honestly just not been enough hype on it. Is it just me? Or, like I feel like I haven't seen it. Like there's no commercials.
I've seen
some stuff
more
on social media, but like it hasn't been extensive or anything. There definitely hasn't been a bunch of commercials.
I've seen more ads for the USFL, which is returning like in 6 weeks or something like that, than I have for the XFL.
It's been pretty sad.
Yeah,
on the marketing side.
Yeah, I think that it's because this is not something that is being done by Fox and NBC. I think this is an ESPN ABC only deal now, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. But I know that Fox was involved back in 2020 when they first came back, and then of course COVID pause, shut down, everything like that. But also this weekend, Drew, Daytona 500, one of the biggest events in sports, especially if you're a motorsports fan. You're not gonna be watching that. Not gonna be
no.
Not gonna be watching Luis Perez making his return with the Vegas Vipers to Arlington.
Oh no, probably not. I'll probably forget the games are even happening. I'm not gonna lie to you, BJ. Be thinking like, NBA All-Star festivities.
NBA All-Star, and I'm sure a lot of big time action in college hoops this weekend too.
Oh
there's a lot of good stuff. Last weekend we had 1 and 3 in women's sports with South Carolina and LSU. Both were undefeated.
AU's got their draft. Hold on, what day is it? Yeah, AU drafts on Sunday.
Okay.
At 11 a.m. AU Athletes Unlimited draft for the first week on Sunday. So
we'll have to keep an eye on that.
More stuff.
And talk about it. Yeah, next week.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Well, that's With It or Quit It, Drew, and that is almost the end of the episode.
Well, that's the end of the episode. You got something else?
I was going to say, I thought we were going to say hello to our friends over at Fanatics and T Public before.
Oh, yeah. We always do that.
Always do that.
Yeah. Make sure you get on over to T Public, ladies and gentlemen. Take advantage and get that stuff while it's hot. I know we're not too far away from spring break, so you might be starting to think tank top and t-shirts again. But if it's
Mm-hmm.
still cold in your area, like it is off and on here,
Mm-hmm.
you can get you a hoodie
Yeah.
still. You can still get a hoodie. Plenty of it there. You can catch it while it's on sale, up to 35% off site wide. If you don't catch it while it's on sale, you got to get $80 worth to get free shipping, but that free shipping is definitely worth it.
Comes
So
in
either
clutch.
way, hey, get your merch, get stocked up.
Don't forget also, Drew, if you are, we talked about the big game. If you Kansas City fans, Super Bowl merch is available over at Fanatics. You can get you some Super Bowl championship Kansas City. You know, they've got this a nice football helmet that has LVII champions on it. Super Bowl with the Kansas City logo, hats, shirts. It looks
Do they
like
have
this
a
is.
Mama Kelsey half and half?
I
No, probably not.
I was to say, I think
That's
Mama
an
Kelsey's the only
exclusive.
one that gets the
Yeah.
half and half. But that would be interesting if they made that more widely available. But so you want to get some All-Star Weekend merch? There's the All-Star jerseys are, I believe, on sale over at Fanatics. It's almost baseball season. They got Topps baseball cards over on Fanatics. You can get a lot of good stuff. And right now, Drew, at least through the rest of the night, you can get free shipping in the United States on
Hey.
orders over $29 by using code 29SHIP. That is 29SHIP over at Fanatics. Use the link in our description. Go get you some merch and check it all out. Get some good deals. Get you ready for another weekend of great hoops action.
Yes, indeed. A lot of sports going on this weekend. And make sure you guys follow us on social media at _lowdown. That's THA_lowdown on Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Go drop that follow.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. That's the episode. As we said, and we're going to have to catch you again next week for another episode of the Lowdown Sports Show.